It's a cold winter morning in a quiet suburb of a major city. A family of four gathers around the kitchen table, their eyes fixed on the family budget. The parents, both working hard, are trying to make ends meet. Every dollar is accounted for, every expense scrutinized. They save religiously, believing that saving is the key to financial security. This is the conventional wisdom we've all been taught since childhood. Saving is good. Wealth is built $1 at a time. But what if this belief is flawed? What if the very people we imagine to be the most financially secure, the wealthy, don't follow this same path? This is the paradox we're about to explore. Why do rich people not save money? The idea seems contradictory. After all, saving is the bedrock of most financial advice. It's what we're taught in school, what we're told by financial advisors, and what we're conditioned to believe is the path to success. But the truth is, the wealthy often don't behave like typical savers. So what's going on? Why does the very idea of saving, a practice so deeply ingrained in our culture, seem to fall apart when we examine the habits of the rich? This is not just a question of money. It's a question of behavior, of psychology, of the very systems that govern how we think about wealth. And it begins with a simple but profound realization: the way we save money is not the same as the way the wealthy build their fortunes. So what if the key to wealth is not saving, but spending wisely? Imagine standing on a high-rise balcony in the heart of a financial district. The city stretches out below, a sea of lights and movement. You're not just any passerby. You're a member of the elite, someone who has the luxury of risk. You have a financial cushion so thick that a single misstep in the stock market, a failed investment, or even a down market year won't derail your life. This is the world of the wealthy, a world where the concept of risk is not a deterrent, but a possibility. Most people fear risk. They save because they want to avoid the pain of loss. But for the wealthy, risk is not a threat, it's an opportunity. They have the means to absorb losses, to bounce back from downturns, and to take big chances that others would never dream of. This is not to say that they are reckless, but rather that they understand the power of risk in building wealth. A failed venture might cost them millions, but it's not the end of the world. That kind of financial resilience is what allows them to take bold steps others would never consider. And yet there's a common misconception that saving is always safer, that if you put your money in a savings account, you're protecting yourself. But that's not the case. Inflation, which quietly erodes the value of money over time, is a far greater enemy to savings than risk itself. So the wealthy don't just avoid risk, they embrace it. They take calculated chances, invest in high-growth ventures, and build their wealth not from the safety of a savings account, but from the edge of possibility. So what if the wealthy are not avoiding risk, but embracing it? Now, picture a young entrepreneur standing in front of a spreadsheet, eyes scanning the numbers with a mix of excitement and apprehension. This is not just any spreadsheet, it's a financial plan that spans decades. The goal is not immediate wealth, but long-term growth. The entrepreneur knows that time is on their side. They can afford to wait for the market to rise, for investments to compound, and for their portfolio to grow slowly, but steadily. This is the power of a long-term time horizon. For the wealthy, it's not about making quick profits or chasing short-term gains. It's about building a legacy, about letting their money work for them over years, even decades. They know that patience is a virtue, and that the most successful investors are not those who rush to the finish line, but those who understand the value of time. But this concept is often misunderstood. Many people believe that saving is the fastest way to build wealth, that putting money in a bank account is the safest bet, but in reality, long-term investing can yield far greater returns. It's not about making money quickly, but about making it last. So, what if the wealthy are not focused on short-term gains, but long-term growth? Let's step back in time. Imagine a small town in the 1950s. A farmer works the land, saves every spare dollar, and tucks it away in a jar under his bed. He believes that saving is the path to security. Fast forward to today. That same jar, now filled with decades of savings, is worth far less in real terms than it was when the money was first saved. That's the power of inflation at work. Inflation is the silent thief of wealth. It's the reason why a savings account, while safe, is not always the best way to preserve value. The wealthy know this. They understand that if their money is just sitting in a low-yield savings account, it's slowly being eaten away by inflation. That's why they invest in assets that can outpace inflation, stocks, real estate, and other high-growth opportunities. But again, there's a misconception here. Many believe that saving is the safest way to preserve wealth. However, the truth is that saving can be a losing battle against inflation. The wealthy know this and act accordingly. They don't just save, they invest in ways that protect their money from the slow, relentless erosion of inflation. So, what if the wealthy are not avoiding savings but avoiding inflation? Now, imagine a high-end restaurant in a bustling city. The ambience is elegant, the service impeccable, and the clientele is, by all appearances, extremely wealthy. But here's something interesting. While some of the guests are dining with a sense of indulgence, others are sipping their wine and discussing investments. It's not just about spending or saving. It's about behavior, about the psychology behind financial decisions. Behavioral economics tells us that people don't always act rationally when it comes to money. Some people are motivated by the thrill of spending, by the satisfaction of investing, or by the sense of control that comes with managing their wealth. The wealthy, in particular, often have different motivations than the average person. For them, saving is not always the goal. It's more about the experience, the growth, and the freedom that comes with financial independence. This is a shift in perspective. It's not that the wealthy don't save, but that saving is not necessarily their end goal. They might save, but they also spend, invest, and live in a way that aligns with their values and desires. It's not a matter of right or wrong, but of different priorities. So, what if the wealthy are not avoiding saving, but redefining it? Let's take a look at a different kind of financial landscape, one that is shaped not just by money, but by the tax code itself. Imagine a wealthy individual consulting with their financial advisor, poring over complex strategies that involve tax-advantaged accounts, offshore trusts, and other legal mechanisms designed to optimize their wealth. They're not just saving money, they're managing it in a way that minimizes the impact of taxes. Taxes are a powerful force in shaping financial behavior. For the average person, taxes can be a burden, but for the wealthy, they're an opportunity to structure their finances in a way that maximizes returns. They use tax-advantaged accounts, invest in assets that offer tax benefits, and even engage in charitable giving as a way to reduce their tax liability. This is not about cheating the system. It's about understanding the system and working within it. The wealthy know that taxation is not always a deterrent to saving. In fact, it can be a tool that, when used wisely, allows them to build and preserve their wealth more effectively. So what if the wealthy are not avoiding saving, but optimizing it? Now, picture a dinner party in a wealthy neighborhood. The guests are not just discussing money. They're talking about culture, about values, about how they see the world and their place in it. In some cultures, wealth is measured not by how much you save, but by how much you spend. In others, it's about legacy, about passing on a family business or a tradition. These cultural attitudes shape the way people think about money, and for the wealthy, they can have a profound impact on their financial decisions. In some parts of the world, spending is seen as a sign of success, a way to display power and influence. In others, it's about investing in the future, in the next generation, or in opportunities that will create long-term value. These cultural norms don't just influence how people save, they influence how they build their wealth altogether. This is a shift in perspective. It's not that the wealthy don't save, but that they may be following a different cultural model. They may not see saving as the ultimate goal, but rather as a means to an end. Their behavior is shaped by the values of their culture, and that culture may not align with the traditional view of saving. So, what if the wealthy are not avoiding saving, but embracing a different cultural model? Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The journey we've taken has led us to a new way of thinking about wealth and saving. It's not about whether the wealthy save or not. It's about how they build their wealth and what that means for the rest of us. Saving has long been seen as the foundation of financial success. But the truth is the wealthy often build their fortunes through different strategies. They take calculated risks. They invest with a long-term vision. They understand the power of compounding, and they align their behavior with their cultural and psychological values. Their approach isn't about saving for the sake of saving. It's about building wealth in a way that is sustainable, meaningful, and aligned with their goals. This is not to say that saving is wrong. It's just not the only path to success. The wealthy don't follow the same playbook as the average person. They have different tools, different priorities, and different ways of thinking about money. And in doing so, they challenge the very assumptions we've all been taught. So what if the answer lies not in saving, but in redefining what wealth means?